Welcome. First of all, I just want to welcome you to our parliamentary get-together in advance of the Dáil session. And today and tomorrow we'll be profiling a number of issues. We have Professor Micheál from the Fiscal Advisory Council addressing us, perhaps bringing a degree of caution and different perspective, maybe given all the headlines of the last 2 to 3 days in terms of what's possible and what's prudent in terms of fiscal policy. We have Vincent de Paul, in particularly talking about the impact of homelessness and the housing shortages, and essentially bringing the message that the economic recovery is not reaching all communities and is leaving many people behind. We're also having a discussion on enterprise policy in terms of what are the best ways of both protecting and supporting the self-employed, but also encouraging and developing new enterprises and giving incentives for new enterprise. And we've already published some documents in relation to that. And tomorrow we'll be looking at electoral strategy and rolling forward to the general election. At the beginning of the Dáil session, it's our intention to go ahead with the motion of no confidence in the Taoiseach in respect of his failings highlighted by the Fennelly report. Effectively, the Taoiseach sacked the Garda Commissioner in plain language. He sent the Secretary General of Justice out approximating to midnight with a message that the Commissioner should move on. And I think it's unacceptable that any Taoiseach would behave in that manner, that unilaterally a Taoiseach would decide, without reference to Cabinet or others, to essentially move the Commissioner on. And that is why we are starting the Dáil session with a motion of no confidence in the Taoiseach. Furthermore, the manner in which he's handled the Fennelly report has left an awful lot to be desired. The one and only interview he has done on it, he organised the release of the report about 10 minutes before the 6-1 news so that nobody could actually read it to ask him any hard questions about it. That is, I think, a serious issue. It reflects a way of doing business as head of government that's unacceptable, it's shifty, it's underhand, and it's not upfront. And we'll be articulating that very strongly in the Dáil next week. And also we'll be focusing on the homeless crisis, on health, and then on enterprise policies. So I'll open up to any questions.
Micheál, do you think you're warning of the dangers of a giveaway budget and the promises being made by government in the last few days? Does your experience of 2007 give you a unique perspective on that?
Well, I think my experience of 2011 does, and I think the electorate will look at the 2011 experience in terms of all the promises that were made and subsequently reneged upon. I think people were taken back. It took Pat Rabbitte, I think, to explain that that's the way things are done, apparently. I would like to think we've learned lessons as a political party from earlier elections, 2007 and earlier elections, that surely the lessons coming out of the economic crash is that political parties need to be straight with people and not making promises that they have no intention of fulfilling, and also that we would cost our proposals. I think our finance spokesman Michael McGarr has already put forward ideas around the costing of election manifestos, that they would be independently costed. In our political reform document, we've put forward the idea that there would be an independent Oireachtas body, like the Independent Budgetary Office in the Fed in Congress, which basically assesses any proposal by any TD at any time that involves public expenditure and is fully transparent in relation to it. But I think it's interesting that the Taoiseach said last week they'd be very cautious, he said, there'd be no giveaways, and then for the following week there was a flow of leaks to every newspaper, different pitches for different perceived audiences, and there's one for everyone in the audience actually if you read every Sunday newspaper and today's newspapers as well.